the Aperture Field, a place for seeing clearly and thinking about what matters. This is a spoken version of a written piece called The Cost of Veiled Communication. I've been thinking a lot lately about the cost of veiled communication and the freedom that comes when you just say things outright. I grew up in a family, like many, where big feelings were rarely said directly. Meaning lived in the pauses, in the tones of voice, the hesitations, and the slight detours in a sentence. What was spoken wasn't always what was meant, and so the only way to understand anything was to learn how to read underneath the words. And that shaped me, not entirely in a negative way. It actually made me very attuned to emotional subtext. I can walk into a room and feel what's happening pretty quickly. But it also made me work really hard to decipher people who weren't actually trying to hide anything. Now, as an adult and as somebody who works with leaders in complex organizations and systems, I've noticed how much this pattern still runs in the background for me. When someone speaks carefully, I'm scanning for subtext. When someone adds a lot of context, I wonder what they're trying not to say. When someone reassures, part of me listens for the warning underneath it. And it's not that I'm anxious, although I know it sounds that way. It's because I was trained to survive by reading the invisible layers. But here's an insight that landed for me recently, and it seems like a cornerstone of my own leadership practice now. Directness isn't danger. Context isn't critique. And clarity isn't redirection. Sometimes people are simply telling you what they mean. And the more I let myself receive communication at face value, spoken cleanly without decoding, the more coherent my own system becomes. There's less friction and more trust, presence, and space. And so this is the leadership lesson in it for me. When we speak with transparency and with clean lines, we free the other person's nervous system from the burden of trying to decipher us. And we create relational coherence. And when we allow ourselves to be spoken to that way without bracing for what's unsaid, something shifts internally. The body stops preparing for threat, the space between people opens, and communication becomes a direct, present exchange instead of a puzzle to solve. And in a world saturated with ambiguity and half signals, the simple act of saying the thing, kindly, clearly, and without veils, is a profound form of integrity and a profound form of care. This has been The Aperture Field. You can find the written version of this piece and other notes on Substack at The Aperture Field. And if you'd like to explore these ideas more deeply, there's a companion podcast where I go further into the patterns behind the work. Thanks for listening, and see you soon. Music by Pavel Bakirov.